Hotel History is created for adult audiences. Content may not be suitable for all listeners. Discretion is advised. You're listening to Hotel History. We take you with us through the sordid history and scandals of some of the world's most famous and infamous hotels. I'm Dieta.
And I'm Yael. Let's get started. This is a really exciting episode. First of all, we're green. So I don't know what to
green.
say.
We're little.
We're green.
We're little green
We're
men.
little green men. Humanoids, as they call them. This is our Roswell episode.
Woo!
It's very exciting. And if you pay attention, up above, we are sitting on a couch, if you're not watching. And to cover the mirror, we have the newspaper from the Roswell Incident from 1947, a copy of it, not the real one. That would cost a lot of money.
Yes, we have both the original RAAF captures flying saucer headline, and then we also have the press releases from the Army saying, just kidding, that never happened.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
It's just a weather balloon.
Forget it.
You're crazy.
Forget it. So we have a lot to talk about with this episode. Roswell is a much more interesting area of the country than I first gave it credit for.
And if anyone's wondering where the connection of hotel history and this cosmic summer, it's that we talk about the tourism and the hotels in areas where stuff like this happens and all the fun sightings in the sky like we did in our last episode. So it might not be about one specific hotel, but it's the general how those hotels in those areas boomed because
it's
Roswell,
the transformation of this very crazy event.
And because we wanted to and we're making it work. Is it a stretch? Whatever.
We get to do what we want. It's
Fine
our podcast.
Us. Yeah.
Did I create an entire summer theme based around this trip that we wanted to take? Of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why we do this.
There's so much tourism in it.
Absolutely.
So it works.
Yes.
And it's old.
All right. So it's modern history begins in 1865 when a group of settlers known as the Missourians attempted to establish the Missouri Plaza community southwest of the current location, but were forced to leave the site because of insufficient water, which is a tale as old as time in that area of the country. Other small settlements in the Pecos Valley were nearby Rio Hondo and Barindo. The settlements were mostly populated by Hispanic Americans, although there were a few Anglo-American families at Missouri Plaza. According to Roswell Images of America, the first building in Roswell was a single 15-foot by 15-foot adobe room built by a man named James Patterson. Patterson used the structure... No.
James,
no, surely. Time traveler.
Yeah. No. Why is he so successful?
Because he knows. Because he knows the past. Patterson used the structure as a trading post along the Goodnight-Loving Cattle Trail, which began in Graham, Texas, and went southwest to the Pecos River, then north through what would later become Roswell, and from there to Fort Sumner. In 1869, a professional gambler, Van C. Smith, came from Omaha via Santa Fe with a partner, Aaron Wilburn. Patterson sold the post to Smith in early 1870, and Smith added on to the small structure, expanding it into an all-in-one saloon, casino, restaurant, and hotel.
I love that there's a professional gambler. What would you call a professional gambler today?
A hedge fund guy.
Oh, yeah.
So this is Roswell's first hotel because he made this all-in-one saloon, casino, restaurant, and hotel. Then he and Wilburn built a general store. When Smith first filed his claim on March 4th, 1871, he changed the name of the community from Rio Hondo to Roswell in honor of his father, Roswell Smith. Officially, Roswell came into existence on August 20th, 1873, when the first government post office was opened.
Okay, so Roswell's a real name? Like
yes.
a human person?
Lots of people were named Roswell, yeah.
Why?
I mean,
Does
obviously,
it have a biblical origin?
I don't
'Cause
think
I always
so.
assume names come from.
When I was doing research, tons of people named Roswell kept popping up, and I was like, "This is annoying. Obviously, I don't mean you."
Yeah, yeah. That's so funny. By the late 1870s, the town developed a reputation as a gambling center for transient cattlemen with card gaming, cockfighting, and dogfighting. That is the most politically correct way to say, like, this was a hotbed for crime and other things.
Sin.
And sin, yeah. Um, Smith laid out an extra wide main street to accommodate cattle herds being driven through the town and to serve as a racetrack when there were no cattle because the gambling. Don't forget the gambling.
Don't forget the game. This like is such a stereotype of a wild western
This is
town.
Yeah, wow. No, Main Street is very wide.
Yes.
Yeah, so
It is.
That makes sense. During the same period, two cattle barons, John Chisholm and Joseph Lee, settled in the Roswell area. Joseph Lee located the center of his cattle empire northwest of Roswell, and Chisholm had the first cattle ranch in southeastern New Mexico. The Chisholm Ranch, 6 miles south of Roswell, became an important political and social center of southeastern New Mexico, with both important politicians and even outlaws, like Billy the Kid, known to visit. This place actually sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
In 1877, Captain Joseph C. Lee bought Smith's holdings. Captain Lee started as a sheep rancher, then became a cattle rancher, as one does. Leland and Cattle Company. Wow, I like the name Leland. And finally, a land developer. He was responsible for the official platting of Roswell into the gridiron pattern it exhibits today. Lee is often referred to as the father of Roswell for these contributions. When Billy the Kid became a nuisance with cattle rustling in Lincoln County, Lee told him he would shoot him if he caused any trouble in Roswell, to which Billy the Kid replied, "All right, Captain, I promise I won't ever cut up any capers in your Roswell."
Why does that sound like a 10-year-old kid?
Because his name is Billy the Kid.
You got it, sir. We won't be cutting no capers here.
Interesting. Sheriff Pat Garrett, who lived in Roswell from 1880 to 1888, would eventually hunt Billy down and kill him. For caping on the cappers? the cappers on the
Too much wrestling of the cattle.
Oh my God.
And murdering people also.
Oh,
But
well.
there was feuding going on. What you gonna do?
Yeah. Well, it was the Wild West. In 1908, Garrett would be killed in a grazing rights dispute by Jesse Wayne Brazel, the second cousin of William Mack Brazel, who in 1947 was the rancher who found the debris near Corona that started the flying saucer conspiracy.
Spoiler alert.
Damn, that goes deep.
Yeah.
Wow. Roswell, you gotta really highlight more of your history.
Lean into this.
They really don't.
Like Billy the Kid, side note, in
You're related to Billy the Kid.
no. In 4th or 5th grade, I did play Pat Garrett in a mock trial that my class did. Yes. I was
That was the most Texas thing, Southwest thing I've ever heard. Because I had no idea who the hell Billy the Kid was.
as I was doing these notes, I thought to myself, Yael's going to tell me that she has never heard of Billy the Kid. And I wish that I could be surprised. But at this point,
I have heard of Billy the Kid, but I feel like I've heard it in a pop culture reference. Like I didn't learn about it.
probably, yes.
Yeah.
He's definitely a pop culture reference for sure.
Yeah, I didn't. We did not have a play about.
It wasn't a play. It was a mock trial to figure out who
killed Billy.
shot somebody else. Because we all know Pat Garrett shot Billy the Kid. It was who shot somebody else.
Oh,
I can't remember.
I mean, I played Harriet Tubman for that. I didn't play her. I did we had to do people in history, and that was my person. I don't know why. but she called to me.
All right. Well, she was pretty important.
Yeah,
so,
no, she was. She was. But I'm saying I was talking about important people, not killers. We were doing.
In addition to a ranching and farming community, the military has played a large part in the history of Roswell, beginning with the Goss Military Institute. Captain Lee became acquainted with Colonel Robert S. Goss, Commandant of Fort Worth University. He and his wife persuaded Colonel Goss that Roswell offered distinct advantages for the location of a military school, and in the fall of 1891, the Goss Military Institute was opened. On February 23, 1893, the school became a state institution, and the name of the school was changed to the New Mexico Military Institute. The institute continues today as one of the most important institutions in southeastern New Mexico and hails several famous students, including, shock of all shocks, Conrad Hilton,
Of course.
the founder of Hilton Hotels. So if we had no other reason to cover Roswell Hotels,
that would be the reason.
This would be reason enough.
Full circle hotel moment.
And another student having nothing to do with hotels was Owen Wilson.
Well, he stays at hotels, I'm sure.
And so now I just keep imagining like a drill sergeant yelling at him and him being like, wow. Anyway, we drove past this military institute as we were driving through town, and we were like, why is there a castle here?
So, yes, I have a few questions. In the middle of Roswell, there's this institute, and the buildings look like castles. And you just think to yourself, whoever designed this, why? Why castles in the middle of Roswell? It's in the southwest, the southeast, or wherever, New Mexico. Why not do Adobe style or like Native American or Spanish style, something more related to the aesthetic of the region?
Because what is a castle if not a fortress? And where is the military housed? In a fortress.
That's such a stretch. She's trying to cover up for the government's bad architectural
I'm part
decisions.
of the conspiracy. All right, so let's get to some hotels. In 1889, Roswell had a first-class hotel called the Besselieu Hotel. Wait, are you telling me that the all-in-one saloon, casino, and hotel was not first class?
I'm shocked. I don't believe it. You mean the hookers are expected to go to a not first class hotel?
So the Besselieu Hotel was owned by E.C. Besselieu, and it was the first two-story house in the Pecos Valley. The rates were $2 per day for table and board, or $30 a month.
That's a lot of money for back then.
In 1889, yeah.
Yeah, that is, yeah.
Yeah. So the Poly Hotel was opened by at least 1890 and shared a location with Roswell's First Bank. Its name was changed to the Grand Central Hotel sometime before September 1903. The guests of this hotel seemed to take Roswell's gambling reputation, or I don't know, reputation for sin, pretty seriously. A March 1917 article in the Roswell Daily Record reported that yesterday afternoon, a stranger appeared before Mayor Mullins and complained that he had been robbed of $20 and some change by a woman at the Grand Central Hotel. Night policeman Jim Johnson went to work, with the result that O.P. Wilson, manager of the hotel, Muriel Smith, and Mamie Roberts, who have been staking at the hotel, were arrested. The complaint was made before Police Judge R.M. Parsons by O.P. Sessions, the stranger. The three accused persons were arraigned before the police judge this morning, and each entered a plea of guilty to the complaint filed against them. O.P. Wilson was charged with permitting and allowing prostitutes and lewd women as guests of the hotel, of which he is the manager. How dare he?
I mean, shocked. I'm on the floor by this revelation.
He should have taken one look at those women and said, out. You're up to no good.
And lose out on the business? I don't think so.
And the kickback that he may have been getting. To this charge, he entered a plea of guilty and was given a fine of $25. and the women were each charged with keeping a bawdy house within the city of Roswell. And when called upon this morning to answer the complaints against them, each one pleaded guilty. A fine of $25, and the costs were imposed in each case, and a jail sentence of 60 days. The latter was suspended on their good behavior, or that they leave the jurisdiction of the court within 48 hours. Mayor Mullis and night policeman James W. Johnson are doing all possible to break up this kind of business.
No, they're not.
This Jim
Liars.
Johnson police officer, he was like, from the articles I read, he was making it his personal mission to end gambling and vice in the city of Roswell. He was constantly busting into hotels and arresting people, as we shall see. Another article ran in October of that same year, 1917, about a crime committed at the Grand Central. E.D. Hargrove entered a plea of guilty this afternoon before Judge Parsons to the charge of having violated the city ordinance against prostitution.
Oh, maybe he was just a peeping Tom.
He was given a fine of $50 and 30 days in jail. The arrest was made Saturday night in a room at the Grand Central Hotel.
So the Grand Central Hotel, the Grand Central
Station.
Grand Central Station.
Yeah. So this hotel was later renamed the Bankhead in May of 1919, but that didn't change anything about what was going on there. A March 1935 issue of the paper told 8 men were arrested and a considerable amount of gambling equipment was seized in raids, which were made by local officers starting at 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon on alleged gambling establishments at the Bankhead Hotel and at the house of Dr. T.J. Pearson on West McGaffey Avenue. They're like doxing people.
They're like, this guy at this house did this.
Which was recently leased by J.G. Cash, who came here from Santa Fe. Why is this necessary?
How big is this town? As if people couldn't figure it out before.
I know. Harry Kitzelman and Otto Murphy were arrested at the Bankhead Hotel, of which Mr. Kitzelman is the proprietor. So yeah, lots going on in this hotel.
Scandal?
No wonder it burned down. It burned down in 1937, a couple years after this. So
you think they did it on purpose?
I think some shenanigans were going on, and it probably.
I mean, fire safety was not a thing.
Yeah.
Things were not made well. People were smoking, lighting candles, just lighting things on fire.
I mean, and this is in the days when your fire brigade was a line of people with buckets of water. Yeah.
And there's no water in the town.
We already went over this.
Roswell may have had other hotels or boarding houses at this time, but more were definitely built after 1894 when the introduction of the railroad to the Pecos Valley did more for the economy of the area than any other single event. We'll see about that. When rail service was extended to Amarillo in 1899, Roswell became the rail center of southeast New Mexico. The railroad provided a means to ship wool, agricultural products to reach southern and eastern markets. The abundance of water from agriculture and the economic stimulus of the railroad served to increase Roswell's population from about 400 in 1880 to 2,049 people by 1900. That is a huge
That's quite
increase.
The boom, yes.
Yeah. I mean,
yes, partially
it's
because
not huge compared to like New York.
No. But for southeastern New Mexico, yeah, for sure. And this was also partially due to the discovery of artesian wells underneath that whole area that they did not know existed. And so they thought this area had no water. And then somebody decided that they were tired of going to the river for water, and they drilled for it to see if there was any groundwater, and they discovered artesian wells, which means that the water is under pressure and will just spring up out of the earth, and you don't have to do pumps and all of that to get to it. So that actually caused an agriculture boom in this area for a minute until the wells ran dry.
Yeah, because they probably didn't think about that.
Yeah, they didn't know how much there was.
Yeah, they're like, we're going to survive until this runs out. Yeah. The arrival of passenger trains created a greater need for lodging. We're not sure when exactly the Roswell Hotel was built, but given its location only about a block away from the train depot, on Pecos Avenue, later called Virginia Avenue. It was probably shortly after the railroad was extended to Roswell. It was definitely open and running by 1903, as it advertised in the earliest edition of the Roswell Daily Record we can find. One of its draws, besides close proximity to the train depot, was its pot-bellied wood-burning stove with vents that opened into each upstairs room to warm the entire hotel. Okay, but it's the desert.
In the winter, it gets cold.
It gets cold?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm shocked. But it gets that cold? Wow. Extreme weather. During the Depression, its roof needed to be repaired, so the owners unrolled big tin cans and nailed them down as shingles.
Hard times.
Clever, though.
Yes.
Resourceful.
Yes.
We couldn't find the exact year it shut down. Could it be the tin shingle year?
No, actually, they were gonna replace part of the roof like in the 60s. And then that's when they discovered that it had these tin shingles, and the roofer was like, actually, that part of the roof you don't have to fix because these shingles are doing a great job.
What are we doing? Should we be doing this now?
Probably
Tin
not. I mean, it does
shingles?
get pretty loud if you've
Oh, it
ever
does,
had a
it
tin
does,
roof. Yeah.
Yeah, cat on a hot tin roof. Got it. But a 1972 edition of the Roswell paper described it as vacant for years. It was demolished to make way for new development on May 10th, 1973. So it had a good life.
It did.
The tin roof extended the life a bit.
For sure.
The Gilkison Hotel, located on the southwest corner of 3rd Street and Richardson Avenue, was opened in November of 1906. It was later renamed the Norton Hotel. Hallelujah, thank God. Under new owner Roy Norton on April 1st, 1941. It fell on hard times and was abandoned and later demolished in 1966. Yeah, it's hard to keep up in this area, you know? But thank God they changed that name because I'm going to the... You can't say that when you're drunk and gambling.
Right. Another hotel in town was called the Gilder Hotel on the northwest corner of 5th and Virginia. It was built in 1908 and owned by John Gilder, who lived in Houston. Guy Nixon, who had formerly managed the Gilkison, bought the Gilder in 1928 and changed its name to the Nixon. Its biggest claim to fame may have been when Elvis Presley visited on February 14th, 1955, to do a radio promo for his show that night. Elvis played 2 shows that evening as part of the Hank Snow Jamboree at the Junior High Auditorium, a show sponsored by the Roswell Fire Department. The hotel was located near the railroad, but it was eventually demolished when the railroad no longer served Roswell. It was demolished 5 months before the Roswell Hotel on December 28, 1972, to clear the half block it sat on for development. But from what I could see, the Nixon was one of Roswell's most popular hotels. It's in the newspaper constantly with people, lists of the guests staying there. It had a coffee shop and cafe that seemed to be a really important meeting spot for different organizations. So this one was definitely one of the main hotels. Based on newspaper ads and articles, the Zuni Hotel seems to have opened sometime in the 20s. It possibly later on became the Zuni Motel in the 50s or 60s because that also existed, and we found postcards for that, but I couldn't tell if they were in the same location. But either way, the Zuni Hotel was definitely demolished for a chain hotel to be built in its place in 2002.
Mm. And finally, the Del Rio Hotel, located at 2nd and Virginia Street, was built in 1929 by J.H. Bass. It closed in 1974 due to lack of business and sat empty until it burned down in March 1976. Okay, sorry, all the hotels are dying. The Roswell Daily Record mourned it as Roswell's last hotel. Everything else in town after it burned down was a motel. This, of course, later changed with new hotels, especially chains like Holiday Inn and Hilton, opening in town. Even when we go today, there's mostly motels.
A few hotels, but mostly.
In the 1930s, record-breaking aviator Charles Lindbergh, someone who comes up all the time when we read about history, and financier Daniel Guggenheim chose Roswell as a location for scientist Dr. Robert H. Goddard's rocket experiments. Of course they did, because the middle of nowhere, New Mexico, is where you do experiments.
Yep.
Goddard remained in Roswell for 12 years working on his experiments and record-breaking rocket launches. Without those experiments, the United States would have later not won their race to the moon. Damn.
Yeah.
Wait a second. So if it wasn't for these rich-ass bitches funding this experiment, we wouldn't have gone on the moon?
Not as quickly as we did. Yeah.
But
eventually we would have, I'm sure. But yeah, but because of Goddard's work, it directly correlated
that's
to
crazy.
Yeah, which we will be doing an episode about the space race towards the end of Cosmic Summer. So all of this relates to each other in so many ways.
Wait. But I have thoughts. This is very inspiring because Charles Lindbergh he was not great. But that kind of reminds me of we have a lot of billionaires and millionaires, and are they doing that stuff like that, projects like that?
I don't know.
I hope they are.
I mean, Elon
is
sending stuff to space.
Yeah. No, but I mean just there's something that we can get there faster, and if it just had funding,
yeah,
that'd be cool.
I hope so. I hope they're using their money for things like that.
Yeah. I think things are, but that's great. To me, I don't know why I think that's really crazy. I really just thought it was a bunch of Nazis they got from World War II that... Because they definitely did. Yeah.
They definitely contributed.
That makes me feel better. Well, Charles Lindbergh was...
Yeah.
The U.S. military decided to build a military base in Roswell. Looking at a potential site in June of 1941, construction began for what would first be called the Roswell Army Flying School and later be called the Roswell Army Airfield. The Roswell Army Airfield became one of the most prestigious bases of its kind after World War II because it was home to the 509th Bomb Group, the only atomic bomb unit in the world at the time. The airfield eventually grew into Walker Air Force Base, a permanent installation of the Strategic Air Command, and was home to 7,000 personnel and their families. It's super famous, the 509, right?
Yeah.
And will come into play soon.
Yes. So this is starting to become Roswell's transition into military town.
Yeah. So this was, 1941. Very interesting. Okay. This makes sense because in the 1930s with the Guggenheim thing, the Goddard and Guggenheim and Lindbergh, and that became the U.S. military base. This is all coming together. Not far from Roswell, the atomic bomb was being tested in Alamogordo. Roswell was close enough to the Trinity site that residents could see the light from the explosion.
Crazy.
I mean...
Can you imagine? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
People in Roswell being able to see flashes from Alamogordo also makes me think about the people who say they saw something flash in the sky the weekend that the saucer was supposed to have crashed.
Did something happen at Alamogordo?
Yeah, so were they actually seeing some other kind of test? Who knows?
We'll never know.
We'll get there. I don't know.
The U.S. government will never tell us until it's too late.
Okay, now we're coming up to our main cosmic event, the Roswell Incident of 1947. To paint a picture of the hotel side of things, except for the Besaloo and the Bankhead hotels, all of the hotels already mentioned, plus some others, would have been open and serving customers during the incident. In addition, according to the 1947 city directory, Roswell had 22 tourist camps and courts.
What is a tourist camp?
I'm so glad you asked. Tourist camps and courts were the precursor to the motel and a common form of lodging for travelers in the U.S. from the 30s to the 60s. Both terms were used to describe both an individual cabin or room rented for the night and the business as a whole. In their early days, they typically consisted of standalone structures that looked and functioned like small houses with as few as 4 units to rent. Those built during and after World War II were increasingly likely to be under a single roof in the form recognizable today as motels. While hotels were more likely to serve railroad passengers, the tourist camps and courts evolved to accommodate the needs of middle-class families who were more and more likely to own a car and use them for vacations to escape the cities. A common practice was roadside camping, which spawned free municipal campgrounds across the country, often in city parks. However, most municipal campgrounds did not last into the 1930s due to overcrowding and increasing costs. Yeah, if you camp in a municipal park nowadays, it's not because you're a family on vacation.
No. Now there's RV parking and stuff like that you had to pay. Beginning in the mid-1920s, thousands of small, private, locally owned tourist camps were being built across the country. The more modern of these began calling themselves tourist courts. They furnished an increasing array of amenities such as heat in the winter, electric fans in the summer, private bathrooms and kitchens, as opposed to the communal ones of the earlier camps, linens, radios, and garages. So a motel?
Getting there, yeah.
It's just not so fancy. Okay. By the 1940s and 50s, many tourist courts offered room telephones, cafes, gas, and even swimming pools and air conditioning. See, America had air conditioning back then, and Europe still doesn't. Okay.
Okay, on that subject, literally, there was an ad in the paper in like 1915 or something, and it was, you could tell it was summertime, and there was a huge ad that was basically from the people who sold ice, and they were like, iced tea, ice cream, ice lemonade, get your ice. Like, we've been using ice for a really long time.
Oh, yeah.
And it just cracks me up that even back then we were like, yeah, no, we're gonna use ice. We're icing everything down.
What is the thing against ice, which is the easiest, cheapest thing to make?
No idea. I don't understand it. And especially because some drinks actually taste better iced. Like the cold will bring out a different flavor than the heat. I don't get it.
I don't get it. So we've been ahead of the times even back then.
If anybody doesn't know what we're referencing, it's how Europeans on social media are constantly ragging on Americans for icing everything and having air conditioning.
Yeah. Okay. So when I was in Europe last summer, I did get some ice coffees, but it's nothing. Like, it's not, and they didn't judge me. I think at that point they were like, yeah, okay. I think they're catching on after all these years. Motel, a blend of motor and hotel, became a popular term beginning in the 1940s and implied more rooms and greater conveniences to travelers. The terms coexisted into the 1950s and early 1960s, after which tourist court was largely dropped by business owners and the general public. Yeah, because it makes no sense. So anyone coming to Roswell to investigate the incident would have had a number of places to choose from, just as UFO chasers today do. There's a lot of logic in Roswell. On the morning of July 6, 1947, something happened in Roswell, New Mexico, that changed the city forever. Sheep rancher William W. Mack Brazel had just driven into Roswell to see the sheriff, George Wilcox, about strange debris he had found 75 miles north of town near Corona, New Mexico, on the J.B. Foster Ranch, of which Brazel was foreman. Sheriff Wilcox soon received a phone call from Frank Joyce of the local KGFL radio station looking for interesting news to liven up an otherwise boring day, because there was nothing going on in fucking Roswell.
In one of the books that I read, actually, I think it was that book behind you right there, Roswell Inconvenient Facts and the Will to Believe. That author, I believe, called it the "Who Got Drunk Last Night" phone call.
Oh, yeah. Wilcox handed the phone to Brazel so he could tell his story of stumbling across some strange wreckage and even stranger bodies to Joyce, who suggested to Brazel that they call the Roswell Army Airfield. Can you just imagine? Wait, can we back up? Do you have any stories for us? It's been a boring day, Sheriff. I got a story for you. Here is Brazel. Tell him. He's like, oh, I found some. Maybe you should take that to the authorities. After the airbase received the call, Major Jesse A. Marcel, the base's chief intelligence officer, went to see Brazel over at the sheriff's office. Both impressed and perplexed by the debris samples Brazel had brought into town with him, Marcel contacted his commanding officer, Colonel William H. Butch Blanchard, who instructed Marcel to go out to Brazel's ranch and investigate the debris, which they speculated could be from some sort of crash. By the next day, Brazel, Marcel, and Captain Sheridan Cavett of the Counterintelligence Corps had inspected the ranch and found even more debris spread out over a radius equivalent of several football fields. Major Marcel took some of the crash debris back to the RAAF in the back of a carry-all trailer hauled by his 1942 Buick. Before Marcel went to the base, though, he stopped by his home early in the morning hours of Tuesday, July 8th, to show his wife and son, Jesse Jr., some of the strange debris from the ranch. Jesse Marcel Jr. specifically recalls, as do many other witnesses, strange I-beams with hieroglyphic-type writing on them. Other witnesses also recall a type of memory foil that when crumpled up or folded would return to its original shape. Okay, so what do you think? We've been discussing Roswell and aliens for a while, and what do you think about that?
I just don't know if I believe this about the tinfoil-like substance that returns to its shape.
But we hear this story again. And did Major Marcel ever deny it? Or did he say it?
I'm not sure, because there's been so many different witness reports of like, well, my granddaddy said this and I was there that day and I saw this. And so you start to wonder, like, did they just hear that was part of the story and adopt it as part of their, yeah.
I mean, like, a lot of these things, these stories and these names, like, made it into even the show Roswell, where when we were in our trip, I made Deanna watch an episode of Roswell where they tell the story of the crash through the eyes of like one of the old army people.
Yeah.
And in the story, he takes out the tinfoil and he's like, look, I have evidence to show you. So, I mean, it traveled pretty far.
Soon, the RAAF made an extensive sweep of the area, collecting the wreckage, taking it back to the airbase, and Major Jesse A. Marcel and bits of the wreckage were then flown to the Fort Worth Army Airfield to Brigadier General. I'm assuming Brig Gen is short for Brigadier General, but I don't know a lot about titles. Brigadier General Roger Ramey to inspect it. UFO conspiracy theorists believed that once he arrived in Fort Worth, the wreckage that Marcel brought would be replaced by pieces of a weather balloon and a tinfoil radar target to make the cover-up seem believable. And the weather balloons did have pieces of radar targets on them made from tinfoil, so that part does make sense that maybe this was a weather balloon and it was actually just tinfoil. It looked like tinfoil because it was tinfoil. According to the book Roswell Images of America, Marcel had brought with him pieces of the real debris to show Ramey. Upon arriving in Ramey's office, Marcel set a package full with debris down and went with Ramey to the map room so that Marcel could show him exactly where the materials were discovered. Upon returning to Ramey's office, sprawled upon the floor were pieces of the weather balloon Marcel poses with in the very famous photo. Marcel, the Roswell Army Airfield's chief intelligence officer, was also instructed by Ramey not to speak to the press. He returned to Roswell on July 9th via the B-29 Straight Flush, which had arrived in Fort Worth to deliver the dead alien bodies allegedly found to the Fort Worth Army Airfield.
But this is after they already ran the story of a flying saucer, right?
No, so this happened the same day that the story ran. So he gets to Fort Worth the evening of July 8th, and the afternoon of July 8th is when the story runs. The Roswell Daily Record breaks the story with the headline, RAAF captures flying saucer on ranch in Roswell region. The press release given to the Daily Record was approved by the base commander, Colonel William Blanchard, and delivered to the newspaper in person by Public Information Officer First Lieutenant Walter Hott, which is one story. But I feel like I also heard that they phoned in the press release and there was never an actual printed out typed press release. There's kind of a discrepancy there as
if
well.
You can't find it, I wonder.
Yeah. The newspaper was delivered that afternoon, confirming rumors that had been circling around Roswell the previous day of a crashed flying saucer, because news travels fast. Not long after the RAAF's press release about the recovery of the crash disc, the story was retracted and the infamous alleged cover-up began. So story retracted in both the Roswell Morning Dispatch, which was the Daily Record's rival at the time, and also in the Daily Record. The Roswell Dispatch says, Army debunks Roswell flying disc as world simmers with excitement. And the Roswell Daily Record says, General Ramey empties Roswell saucer, which I think is a little bit more clever. I see why the Record won that competition between papers.
I also like the way the Record, it looks more old school.
Yeah.
Their font.
Yeah, you could tell the Morning Dispatch was trying to be like the hot new modern kid in town. And it didn't work
Roswell
out.
Daily Record was like, we're the New York Times, but not really.
So Brigadier General Roger Ramey, Colonel William Blanchard's superior in Fort Worth that was taking the photos with the weather balloon, issued a new press release that the flying disc was actually a weather balloon. Mac Brazel was missing on the morning of Tuesday, July 9th, so the next day, and the Air Force was looking for him. He was eventually found in the home of radio KGFL owner Walt Whitmore Sr., who had brought Brazel there the previous night to conduct an interview that would be broadcast the following day on the radio station. But once the military found him, they confiscated the interview, and they did not let Brazel out of their sight for the next 7 days. For most of that time, Brazel would be kept at the base guest house located near the base's front gate, and he was finally released and able to return to the ranch on July 15th the next week.
When he promised to shut his mouth.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. So I'm like, guys, if it was just a weather balloon, then why did you need to hold the rancher who found it hostage?
Well, we have our theory that it wasn't just a weather balloon, and that could be why they wanted to do a cover up.
Yeah.
But the more we learn, there's a lot. We have lots of questions for the government, as usual. Let's talk about our theories. We both have been doing a lot of research. I've been watching a lot of documentaries. She's been reading a lot of books. And okay, what the conclusions we both have figured out or have gone to was that there was a major cover up. It was called Project Mogul, and it was not a weather balloon, but some sort of balloon that was supposed to spy or pick up sound.
Yeah, it was supposed to be able to try to pick up audio from the Soviets, basically.
Yeah. And we think what happened is that is why the U.S. government wanted to cover it up at the time, because everything was so hush-hush with the Soviets. But we actually think there was a crash that happened at the same time, because some things don't make sense. Someone says they find the debris. Other stories say they found the ship with the humanoids.
With bodies.
And it's like...
At a different site.
And so... It's like, what could be the truth? And then a lot of people in this area, like the professional, not ufologists, but like people who don't describe themselves as that, but they're not that interested in the Roswell case. They're like, yeah, whatever. And they also claim the bodies aren't at Area 51. They're probably, again, yeah, the Pentagon or someplace, or we don't know. They're away in the government cells somewhere. I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts.
Yeah.
I have a lot of thoughts.
Well, my main thoughts are because a lot of people on ranches around the Roswell area did see weird phenomena on, I think the date was July 2nd, which is when everybody thinks that the crash happened, because there was a thunderstorm with terrible lightning. But people saw a flash and heard a crash that was more than lightning and thunder would have accounted for. And I mean, lightning and thunder in this area of the country is intense. It can be crazy. But when you grow up with it, you know what is normal and what sounds normal and what is not. So I believe them when they say that this was not lightning, was not thunder.
Yeah.
There was one father and son who thought that they saw a meteorite because it was so brilliant and traveled across the sky so quickly that they were like, oh my God, we just saw a meteor. Like, and they tried to go find it a few days later. And by then the army was already patrolling the area looking for debris and sent them on their way. They had their whole road closed, so they couldn't even go any further.
Yeah.
And so I think that something definitely happened in this time period. I don't think that it was what Brazel found on his ranch. I think what Brazel found really was from Project Mogul.
Yes. Yeah.
And the reason I think that is because there is another article in the newspaper that a lot of people seem to gloss over. Right here, it says, harassed rancher who located saucer. Sorry, he told about it. Honestly, the headlines in this newspaper are gold.
You found some really great
I found
stuff.
so many. I'm sharing them on my personal Substack. So if you want to see some really funny news articles from back in the day, that's what I'm doing now as my new hobby.
Yeah.
But in this article, Mac Brazel says that he found the debris on like June 14th, not on July 2nd. He didn't like find the debris and immediately rush into town and be like, I think I found something. He found it on June 14th. He didn't have a phone or anything in his ranch house. So he hadn't heard, like he hadn't phoned anything in. He hadn't heard anything that there had been like flying saucer incidents earlier around the country.
So he found it, and then weeks later he showed it, and someone said, "Oh, you should share this."
Yeah,
oh,
so
that
he
makes,
he drove into Corona, the nearest town, and was telling somebody, and they were like, "There's been like flying saucer reports. Like you should like tell somebody."
Yeah.
And so he went into Roswell, and that's when he told the sheriff about it, and the sheriff was like, "Huh, let's tell the army." And so he'd already had this stuff for weeks. It didn't happen on July 2nd. Mm-hmm. And so I think it was just a weird coincidence that he found something from the army, and also this other thing happened at the exact same time.
We've already established that the government so I don't think there's good communication in the government. Shocker. So one guy's like, yeah, it's a flying saucer. And then he goes to like his real, like, the people in charge are like, no. That was our secret Soviet mission thingy. You need to pretend like that was a weather balloon. And that's why, they got all creepy about it and weird. And at the time, it was post-World War II. They wanted to, Americans don't want to have this random threat of aliens, like, and the fear of aliens.
Yeah, the war's only been over for 2 years. They are still trying to get back to normal.
So I think the government was like, if they found a crash or evidence of aliens, they're just like, let's not make this into a big deal. Mm-hmm. And they wanted to keep it a secret and then reverse engineer and maybe use it as an advantage and not let their enemies know. And I think it is kind of a crazy idea. Government aside, you're telling me there's things in space coming down, falling. Like, it's bizarre. No, so I think it's mixed with like, that is just a weird idea, and the government being like, it is a weird idea. Don't think about it too much. Let's make it into a joke.
Yeah. If the aliens landed in Roswell, which hotel do you think they would have chosen? And that's how we'll pull this back around to hotel history. I think if it had still been open, they would have hit up the Bankhead because that's where the party was.
Oh, yeah.
But unfortunately, it had burned down.
We don't know what they like.
That's true.
I have also another theory about aliens.
The Roswell Incident has happened. The government has done their job with their cover-up, and it basically fades from memory. In the meantime, the Roswell Army Airfield became the Roswell Airfield once the Army split with the Air Force. Then, in January 1948, the airfield was made a permanent base of the Strategic Air Command, and the name was changed to Walker Air Force Base. By 1961, 12 missile launching sites had been built after the base was chosen as a site for the Atlas intercontinental missiles. Some residents have said that during the Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962, B-52s sat on the base runway with engines running, ready to take off and retaliate as soon as the order was given. So this is still a pretty important airfield. By 1965, though, the missile sites were deactivated and the missiles removed. However, if you want to relive this particular piece of Roswell history, there is an Airbnb you can rent built inside one of the old missile silos.
Yes. There's a creator who we love. This is not a hate rant. I think his name is Mark. And he goes on these side quests. And he literally went to like all the places we went to.
Yeah, it was so funny.
All that.
Although he went to the Clown Motel in
Motel.
Tonopah, and we were like, absolutely not.
No. But yeah, he went to Roswell. He also went to that place we want to stay, the X Post, the Post.
Oh,
X.
he did?
What's it called?
Outpost X?
Yes, I sent you the video.
I haven't caught up.
Oh, I keep sending you his videos. I'm like, he's at the place we want to go. Yeah, so he stayed at this Airbnb.
Yeah.
Missile silo thing.
It looked crazy.
Yeah. It was like how? Like how? What? How is it legal?
Because whoever owns that land now, I guess, was like, well, it's decommissioned. There's no missile in it. Yeah. But if you want to literally live in a piece of the Cold War for a minute,
it's really
rent
cool.
this Airbnb.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
We also want to make say something to Mark, not that he's listening, but if he is, we understand that when you went to Roswell, it wasn't very exciting, and we suggest if you ever go again to go to during the UFO festival, because I can see why it wasn't as interesting.
Right. Yeah. Lots more people and things happening during the festival.
Yeah. In 1967, the base itself closed, taking with it more than 15,000 people, which was a whopping 46% of the city's workforce. Damn.
Yeah.
And leaving nearly 5,000 vacant homes. Roswell city leaders acquired the vacant military base and reorganized the existing infrastructure into an economic and cultural growth pole of the city. Renamed the Roswell Industrial Air Center, the former airbase would now house a 2-year branch of Eastern New Mexico University, the city's airport, and several other industries over the years, including a bus manufacturer, a Christmas ornament company, a fireworks company, Levi jeans, and a lollipop factory, among other things. To fill the vacant homes on the base and throughout the city, Roswell rebranded itself as a place to retire.
I mean, it's not Florida, but,
Yeah.
but at least the heat's a dry heat.
By the late 1970s, Roswell had recovered from the closure of the base, and it was beginning to grow, becoming the dairy capital of the Southwest. Well, it has all the cattle. So.
Yeah.
The Roswell incident had been largely forgotten. The turning point came when nuclear physicist and UFO researcher Stanton Friedman, not related, interviewed former intelligence officer Jesse Marcel in 1978. Marcel challenged the weather balloon explanation, reigniting interest in the case. Then, in 1980, Charles Berlitz and William L. Moore published The Roswell Incident. The book became a bestseller and introduced millions of readers to the idea of a government cover-up. From this point forward, Roswell became the place associated with UFOs. Public interest in UFOs continued to grow, and the Roswell Incident was even featured on an episode of Unsolved Mysteries in 1989. Okay, you're telling me that what we know of Roswell today only happened in the 1970s? That's crazy.
Yeah, basically it was completely forgotten and nobody thought anything about it anymore until the Roswell book that I pointed out earlier calls them revisionists until these revisionists started writing books and interviewing quote unquote witnesses and descendants of witnesses and so forth.
I was wondering why the UFO festival was not that old.
Yeah.
Okay. A significant milestone came with the opening of the International UFO Museum and Research Center in 1991. This represented a shift from simply tolerating UFO tourism to actively investing in it. The museum drew visitors year-round and helped establish Roswell as an international destination for both believers and skeptics. Since its founding in 1991, the museum has brought in over 1 million visitors.
That's pretty impressive.
That's really impressive.
For a town of less than 50,000 people.
Yeah. First Lieutenant Walter Haut, one of the 2 men responsible for letting the world know about the crash of the saucer via the famous press release, was one of the founding members of the museum. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Haut said he promised Colonel William Butch Blanchard to stay silent about what he knew about the crash and goings-on at the base. Haut passed away in 2005. So he promised he would stay silent, but he still...
Yeah, but he still was like,
I'll stay silent, but I'm going to encourage everyone else to talk. Eventually, the entire town jumped on board with the creation of the UFO Festival in 1995, which is held annually over the 4th of July holiday. The festival was created specifically to increase tourism and stimulate the local economy. The festival quickly became Roswell's signature annual event and cemented the city's UFO capital identity. And that's where we went. Another thing is that this makes a lot more sense because it only started in 1995. The 1990s come and there is a UFO alien boom in everything. I mean, 80s is also the movie Alien. In the 70s, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. But the 90s, X-Files, Independence Day, Men in Black.
I think E.T. was maybe 89,
Mars Attacks.
88 or 89, but it was like right there on the cusp. Nevada makes its extraterrestrial highway because of how popular aliens have become.
No, from what they said, from this moment in time where they brought back the story and they interview Marcel, basically everything starts rolling and it's becoming more and more. And then the 90s came and it's just like it did not stop.
Yeah.
Between X-Files and Roswell and Stargate and Star Trek and
Futurama even.
And Third Rock from the Sun.
Yes.
Did not stop.
Yeah, I didn't even realize how inundated our childhoods were with aliens until you stopped to actually list off every single thing.
Why do you think I'm obsessed? It's always there. It was always around us.
Signs.
Signs. Oh, yeah. Things hit a peak during the 50th anniversary of the Roswell Incident, when thousands upon thousands of tourists and media people flocked to Roswell in July 1997. After this, Roswell's main street would forever be changed by a plethora of UFO-related businesses, including the International UFO Museum and Research Center, alien-themed gift shops, and even a restaurant called the Cover-Up Cafe. Let's talk about that for a second.
What?
All the cool gift shops. I don't even think we got to explore all of them.
So before we do that, I'm pretty sure that the 1997 one, because that was the 50th anniversary, right, of the Roswell incident. That's the festival that was so huge that I believe that is the one that my dad went to.
Oh, where he had
Not because he chose to. He did not intend to spend that day in Roswell.
Explain what your dad does.
I will. I'm getting there.
Okay.
Let me tell the story.
Sorry. I'm very excited.
So my dad drove a truck for Coke, a semi. And so he gets a call this 4th of July weekend, and they're like, hey, we need you to pick up a load and take it to Roswell. And my dad's like, what? Why? And they're like, they are out of Coke. And my dad's
Coca-Cola, that is.
what? And they're like, yeah, they're out. The warehouse is out. They have no Coke in the entire town. They have sold out of Coca-Cola. And my dad is like, what are you talking about? And so he and other truck drivers have to go to the warehouse, pick up loads of Coke, and drive it to Roswell to their warehouse. And my dad said, no kidding, he walked into the warehouse and it was completely empty. He was like, I have never seen a Coca-Cola warehouse empty of all product.
That's
he was like,
crazy.
it was completely empty. He was like, we made that drive several times trying to get enough Coca-Cola into the town because they were like having a huge concert that night and they did not have enough of anything. And so while my dad is trying to get to and from the warehouse, there's basically like one way in and out of town. And to the warehouse, my dad has to drive down Main Street. And one of the times that he is trying to get there, the parade is going on. And so as he has to sit there at the stoplight and wait for the parade to pass by, and it's going the direction he needs to go. So he has to pull in behind at the tail end of the parade and look like he's now part of the Roswell UFO Festival parade as he's on his way to the warehouse.
And everyone's clapping.
Everyone's clapping. So he just rolls down his window and starts waving at the people.
They probably thought he was a hero.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, your dad saved Roswell.
Yeah, the
Coca-Cola
UFO
drought.
Festival of 1997 would not have gone down if
I
not
love the connection.
for the hero truck drivers.
Did he get a raise?
I'm sure he did not. Hopefully he got a holiday pay or something.
Oh, okay. Well, he deserves an award for that because that's I know it sounds nothing, but if you think about it, you're on vacation, you're at this festival. What do you mean there's no soda? What do you mean?
Oh yeah, it's the Southwest. What do you mean there's no Coke?
Yeah.
It has to be Coke.
Yeah. I can't imagine people drinking water there.
Especially not in So now we can talk about the alien-themed gift shops.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we went to so many gift shops and we didn't even hit up, I think, all of them.
I don't think so. We probably missed, because I think a few were closed at the times that we were trying to.
We really tried to go everywhere. We bought so many little tchotchkes and alien themed stuff. And I have to say, they have some great gift shops.
Yes, they do. I think my favorite, it was called Hangar 84, Hangar 19. It was a number.
It was a number.
It was Hangar plus a number.
Yeah, shout out to them. They had the most unique gifts and they were really nice. And
really
we gave
good
them
shirts.
a little sticker and
Yeah.
a little thing. And they gave us a free postcard. That was really sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then Invasion Station.
Yes.
That was a really cute gift shop.
Yes. Oh, and the proprietor of Invasion Station is a grandchild of somebody involved in
Oh, really?
the incident. Yes.
That would make sense.
They put in our bag, they put a little piece of paper that said their connection to it.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know where
I'm not surprised. This is a small town. I'm sure people have been there for generations and generations. But what's also really fun is that when we went there, we went to a little shop called the Bottle Rocket.
Yeah.
And they just opened that day.
Yeah, they had opened at like 2 p.m. They had finished setting up.
Yeah, and they were selling some toys and stuff, but their thing was like soda and candy and just a wall of taffy.
Oh my God.
And you can buy bags and you could fill it up to the top. The taffy was so good. I ate all that taffy in like 2 days.
All right, so we just left 1997. By the millennium, numerous books, documentaries, and shows had been made about Roswell, including the 3-season WB show, Roswell.
Yep.
Yael's favorite, which inspired this entire cosmic summer theme. In 1995 and 1997, 2 official government reports attributed the Roswell Incident to Project Mogul, a top-secret Air Force project from 1947 to 1949 that used high-altitude balloons carrying sensitive microphones to detect low-frequency sound waves from Soviet atomic bomb tests by utilizing the upper atmosphere's sound channel. So that's what they were actually trying to test, was hearing atomic bomb tests.
Okay. That makes more sense than like eavesdropping on people's conversation.
Yeah. In 2002, Roswell was named an All-America City by the National Civic League for a number of reasons, but one of which was because they turned the 1947 UFO crash into a major part of the town's economy. So they really just took it and did everything they could with it, especially after the military base closed. Like, that was such a huge chunk of Roswell's economy. They really had to try to transform themselves somehow, and they took what they had and used it.
And now everything is aliens. Like,
yes,
mattress store with aliens, nail shop with aliens.
It's so cute because you can tell like which owners are into it and really care and like put that extra little bit of flair into their aliens, and which ones are just like, I don't know, man, put a saucer on the board.
Yeah. And there's a lot of murals in town.
Yes. I loved the murals.
I loved the murals. They're great.
Good. Like, they're not like throw up some paint and we'll have a
no,
mural.
some of them were
like
really good.
Really artistic.
Yeah. Good job, Roswell.
Yeah. In 2012, Roswell made history and again became the center of science and adventure when fearless Felix Baumgartner departed from Roswell Air Center in a balloon up into the stratosphere. Somebody named Felix Baumgartner would do that. That just sounds like
Did he
something.
get the name before or after this incident?
Anyway, Fearless Felix took a balloon up into the stratosphere, jumping from a world record 128,100 feet and free falling safely back to Earth. Baumgartner also set the record for the highest manned balloon flight and fastest speed of a free fall at 834 miles per hour, making him the first human to break the sound barrier outside of a vehicle. Whoa.
Wait, how did he fall? Did he have a parachute?
I'm sure he had a parachute.
Okay, thank God.
But like, he had to free fall for a while, for like a certain distance before he could release the parachute
Fearless
to make the
correct.
record, I guess.
Yeah.
Damn, Fearless Felix.
Yeah.
You crazy.
Yeah. Is he still alive?
I don't know. Probably. This happened in 2012.
Oh. Why did I think it happened in like the 80s? Okay.
That sounds like some 80s
Yeah.
bullshit. Yeah. So, and now Roswell is doing its thing year after year, still with their UFO festival. And we had a great time. We stayed at the Roswell Inn, which is a really cute motel. You could tell they actually care about their alien theme. They're one of the ones who were into it.
They have a big alien sign, and then they have little metal aliens, and then on each door there's an alien. But the actual rooms are just plain simple rooms, so you're not going to get an alien theme. But that's fine.
I'm still waiting for one of these UFO hotels to go all in on the room decor.
Yeah, I mean, do something a little bit different, not just boring.
Yeah.
It was, but everywhere you went, people just, there was no shame in a good way about the aliens. You go, people had alien t-shirts, Team Alien, alien little antennas, alien sunglasses, and we got dressed up with all our alien gear, and I felt comfortable.
Absolutely.
No one was looking at us and being like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Like,
they had
you're
a
so into
costume
it.
contest one
Yeah.
night. The next morning, they had a parade for all of the animals that were dressed up,
Oh yeah, we missed
which
that.
we missed because we're not morning people. But
Yeah.
they had a drone show one night. They had fireworks.
Yeah.
Like they had concerts every single night with dancing and music.
That was fun. That was really
Yeah.
cute. And I have to say, in New Mexico or just Roswell in general is so romantic. The amount of couples I saw dancing, and I saw like a lot of sweet couples. And I'm like, God, is Roswell Paris? Who would have thought this alien-themed desert is romantic? What else did we do?
Well, you have to love the McDonald's because it's
yeah,
shaped. And the McDonald's is a huge flying saucer.
And Dunkin' Donuts.
And the Dunkin' Donuts with their gigantic alien statue holding up their sign.
And I love little towns for their weird stores.
Mm-hmm.
There was a miniature museum.
Yes.
And a store and a like shop. I don't
Yeah.
know what it was, but it was really cute. We went to this like alien experience where you pay like $8 to go into this room full of alien stuff. We went to the UFO museum, which was interesting.
So apparently I had been to the UFO museum before. When my parents and brother and I went to Ruidoso, New Mexico for his my brother's graduation present on vacation, we drive through Roswell to get to Ruidoso, and which I remembered that. I remembered driving through Roswell, but apparently we stopped and went into the UFO museum, which I have no memory of whatsoever. And I was like 16. It's not like I was young and wouldn't remember this. And my mom was like, well, I'm not surprised you don't remember. You weren't really into it.
I was going to say, I mean, yeah.
She was like, it was cheesy then. And it's
Yeah. It's cute though. I mean, like, okay, we'll say this. There's not much there. There's a whole real life alien diorama. Like the aliens are as big as you. But then there was also like a fake autopsy of an alien, and then all the stuff on the wall, like the stories and the pictures, and
then they did actually have like a research library as part of this museum.
That was cool. Okay. And that was the most organized thing I've ever seen in my life. That was so clean and organized. And I saw a couple like really doing some research there. I was like, what are you looking at? Where else did we go? I'm trying to remember. We went to that coffee shop with that guy who could
Stellar Cafe.
Yes. Who was like could not be bothered.
The most unbothered barista in the history.
What do you want?
But the coffee was great.
I
got a flat white. It was great.
Yeah. We had pretty good food. What did we have? We had
we ate at Sarah's, which was I think it was a Lebanese restaurant.
Yeah.
It was,
that was good.
Really good.
Yeah. And then we had, because we needed vegetables, we went to a local
we
cafe.
went to the Cowpoke?
The Cowboy Cafe, I think. It was really cute, very welcoming, very homey American.
Mm-hmm.
The food was good. It was just, I think, a little bit too rich for us.
Yeah.
We're
too LA.
We're too LA.
Yeah, we're too used to having having lettuce.
Oh, I asked for an iced coffee, and this isn't Europe, so she's like, "We don't do iced coffee," and I'm like, "What the fuck? Do you
got
mean?
ice? You got coffee?
Like
you do iced coffee?"
So I was like, "Can I get coffee? Can you give me a cup of ice on the side?" She's like, "Sure," and you can tell in her eyes, she's like, "Fine." And so I poured my coffee in the ice and it worked, but I made a mess because they wouldn't do it for me. And I'm like, why? It made no sense. And then our last day we went to, where did we go? That fancy Ivory.
Oh, yeah.
That was great.
Yes.
That was delicious.
The brunch place. That was so good.
Their coffee was great.
I learned a new way to make overnight oats.
With orange
juice. It was so delicious.
Yeah, I want to try that again.
And the lattes were great. They had no problem with iced coffee.
No, they were very bougie. We went to the least bougie place and we went to the most bougie place.
We like to see both sides of what a town has to offer.
Roswell's really interesting.
And then, so we had to drive south on 285.
Oh,
because
yes.
that's a whole thing in the
Roswell.
first season of Roswell.
Yeah.
And as you drive south out of town, you eventually come upon a fun roadside attraction, which is our new favorite thing, which is a Scooby-Doo mystery van up on stilts on the side of the road.
Just floating.
Just for no reason. There's no sign. There's no marker. There's nothing that explains why it's there.
No idea.
I have scoured the internet, and all I have found is Reddit threads of other people also being like, why is this here?
A mystery.
No, it's a mystery van.
Oh, there we go.
Solved it.
We went to the real hangar, which they transferred the craft.
On the airbase, allegedly, they brought the recovered alien bodies to the airbase before they transported them elsewhere in the country. And while they were on the airbase, they were supposed to have been held in this one specific hangar. And that hangar still exists. So we went and saw that. A company has their business in there now.
Yeah.
So.
We also tried to go to the actual crash site, which is just empty land in Corona.
Yeah, but we didn't have
We got
enough
as
time.
close as we wanted to. Yeah. And it was a beautiful drive. It was a beautiful drive.
Yes.
It was
yes.
gorgeous. Okay. I know people are like, but it's boring. Roswell, I thought the landscape was stunning.
I did too.
I guess they had a lot of rain that year, so the landscape wasn't so beige. The sky was blue. The clouds were out, and it looked like a Van Gogh painting.
Yeah, like the grass was that really pretty light kind of chartreuse color. We're clearly desert people.
Yeah. I love the desert. I always love the desert, and
it's
so
in our blood.
That's true. Yeah. But I think because it's so different, it's so peaceful and calm. Like, I really enjoyed that drive to the crash site.
Yeah, I did too. And I mean, I grew up on the plains. I'm never going to be upset about having a wide open horizon in front of me and sky above me. It's so gorgeous.
Don't sleep on these places. I just think there's beauty in these places. It was really lovely. We met some really nice people. Everyone was so nice, as almost every single small town America. I mean, it's really true what they say when you hear these stories about tourists right now with football coming through, and they're like, oh my God, America's so nice. And it's like, yeah, as Americans, yeah, we really are nice.
Yeah.
It's really refreshing. Go out and go to a different town or city.
Get out there, meet people, talk to people who are not like you.
Maybe you'll meet some aliens.
Thanks for listening to Hotel History. You can follow us on most social media platforms, Patreon, and Substack by searching for Hotel History or Hotel History Podcast. To connect or collaborate with us, check out our website at hotelhistorypodcast.com. If you like what you hear, please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify so we can reach more listeners.